What am I going to play? Hello and welcome to Game Club, and today we'll be playing the game about the city I live in and love. Yes, that's right, London. Join us as we play and review. Right, so it's time to do the unboxing of London. I've already opened it, so I'll just quickly flip open and show you what's inside. One sec. And just want to say that I like the box, it's very classic. And then the instruction book, this is very good, very well written. The one thing that a lot of people will come slightly unstuck by is the way the card placements are for 3-player, 2-player, 3-player, and then 4-player. That's why I'll say in the review as well that start with 2 players and move on to 4 players. It just makes more sense. And also the thing that other people come unstuck on is costs of certain things when you have to pay for certain things, but it's well worth looking at when it comes to developing your city. There's my former borough Lewisham, and also Bexley, which doesn't actually appear in the game, I don't believe. Things seem to have been slightly awry, but they are in regions, so you will get region A, you can see the top of A, B and C cards. Then you've got your boroughs, so you've got your starting boroughs with Westminster, going through to boroughs like Battersea, Wandsworth. Lovely drawings on the cards, very nice indeed. So I'll just focus in on those. So there's Wandsworth. I'll just pull these out actually. But before I do, so then you've got your cash, your player icon, your tokens. Then you've got your little notes for what's that again? Oh yeah, they're the blocks, the little black cubes for the noting things. Then you've got your 3 card sets here, A, B, and C. So it's upside down. I'll just turn around. There's A, there's B, and there's B as well. Should actually be C, which is just there. Need to sort that out, looks like it's been bumped around, but I just want to show you these. I love these, love the work involved in Southwark and Bermondsey and the city, I love that. And then you've got obviously they're your starting ones and they're denoted with the darker borders, but you've got Deptford, Greenwich, Hackney. These are all the sort of paramount places in London, Hampstead, Islington, but I just look at the detail. I mean that for me is one of the sort of, that's beautiful. The Manor House Gardens, Manor House, Paddington, just amazing work. St Marylebone, which is now just known as Marylebone, but it's St Marylebone, and St Pancras, Wandsworth, Battersea, Bethnal Green, and Camberwell. Anyway, that is brilliant. I mean, just to be fair, whoever did the work on this really deserves a hell of a lot of respect for it, which was Mike Atkinson, Natalie Borak and Przemysław Sobreski. Anyway, join us as we review London by Martin Wallace. Now, London, apart from being my home, is the capital of England and also a considerable world centre. The game London, however, is far more about London history, and in particular from the Great Fire of London up to the end of last century, well actually the century before that, the 18th to 19th century. The game is quite fluid, it's pretty well put together. It is far more about pay and play, so players will be used to that sort of process of having to use actions in order to record and reward other actions. It's far more about, and because obviously it has a legacy, this is a reprint of it, it's far more about playing over a long space of time. The thing is, what's funny is I think on the box it even says that the game takes somewhere in the region, I'll just check and see if I can find it, but I believe it says it takes in the region about 60 minutes, 60 to 90 minutes, but actually I'd say more like 140 minutes if you want to play it properly, especially if you've got 4 players. It takes a lot longer because it's the card placements and the removal of cards which take a long time, and also, to be fair, because of the way you play, you have to consider and contemplate what you're doing and sometimes that means that it's a little bit more static. If you're playing with people who are, let's say, serious gamers, it does take a long time. The other thing I noticed that it says 2 to 4 players and 14 plus. I would say that the 14 plus is perfectly fine. I probably would say maybe even slightly higher, maybe 18 plus, because of the level of contemplation, but also the level of sophistication within the gameplay. But when it says 2 to 4 players, it should actually really say 3 to 4. I don't think 2 players, the game works very well with 2 players. It becomes very stagnant because one player will no doubt dominate, but also the strategy involved becomes a little bit more tepid, whereas with 3 players it's far more fluid, which is why the game is very good in that respect. And 4 players is perfect because then it's not only fluid but also there's no monopolization, and that means that the game becomes far more interesting. The biggest problem is poverty and the poor issue, but that is brilliant. And if you're a fan of London history like I am, in particular things like Mayhew, you'll see a lot of the thought processes within this has been taken from that. It's been stripped from London history and directly from Mayhew's works on the poor, written works on the poor. And I like that feature. I think that this is an exceptional game, but it's a game that needs air, it needs breath, it needs to breathe. It's like a fine wine. It literally needs that contemplation and it needs that consideration. And it's the sort of game I would certainly, I'd hesitate to say enter into it lightly. You need to give yourself 3 hours here, and maybe even be one of those things where you play it a few times before you play it seriously. Maybe sit down with one other person just to learn the dynamics, but don't play with 2 people, play with 3 to really get a lot out of it, and 4 is essential. If you can get 4, and I know it's difficult this time frame, but it's really worthwhile doing. That's London. This was Gameclaw, I'm Simon, and thank you for watching, and this is really well worth checking out. Please do so. Thank you.